Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Parker Hench, and today we're going to be talking about Peacemakers versus Peacekeepers. This is a series on discerning the Spirit, and I've been wanting to know how to discern the Spirit for a while now because I want to know who out there has the Spirit so I can help them grow and talk to them so they can help me grow, and those who don't have the Spirit, share the Spirit with them. So this is part 1 of 3 on discerning the Spirit. So it is called Peacemakers versus Peacekeepers. So first, we're going to talk about psychology, right? Where does the word psychology root from? So it roots from modern Latin and Greek. It means study of the soul or study of the mind. We know that the New Testament talks about renewing our mind a lot, right? So Romans 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So if we're supposed to renew our mind, how can we renew our mind? By reasoning with one another, right? So the definition of reasoning is the action of thinking about something in a logical or sensible way. So Isaiah 1:18, come now, let us reason together, says the Lord. Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Though they are red like crimson, they shall be as wool. 1 Corinthians 1:10. Now I urge you, brothers and sisters, through the name of the Lord Yeshua, Messiah, that you all speak the same thing, and that there is no divisions among you, but that you be united in the same mind and in the same purpose. Philippians 2, verse 2. Then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one spirit and of one mind. Right? So over and over again, we see in the Old Testament and the New Testament, we're supposed to renew our mind by reasoning together, right? So if we're supposed to do this, it begs the question, right? Does coming together of one mind and one spirit form a peacekeeper or a peacemaker? Peacemakers. And why is this, right? Peacemakers help us come together in one mind and one spirit by making peace with other people through reasoning, right? If we're going to reason together, there is a disagreement, right? Somebody is in the truth and somebody is in deception. We need to reason together through conversation in order to get to the truth. Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. James 3:18. Peacemakers who sow in peace reap the harvest of righteousness. So we see we're pushed to be peacemakers. But what does the Bible say about peacekeepers? The Bible repeatedly cautions us that seeking to please others above God himself can lead to spiritual compromise. 1 Galatians 1:10. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to people please? If I were still trying to people please, I would not be a servant of Messiah. Those are harsh words. 1 Thessalonians 2:4. We are not trying to people please, but God himself. Who trusts our hearts? Or who tests our hearts, sorry. Colossians 3:22. Slaves, obey your human masters in every respect, not just within your master's sight, as people pleasers, but with sincerity in your heart, fearing the Lord. Right? So we're not supposed to peacekeep, but we're supposed to be peacemakers. So what is the difference between a peacekeeper and a peacemaker? Another name for a peacekeeper is a people pleaser. And another name for a peacemaker is a truth teller. So peacekeepers or people pleasers often find themselves in relationships where they are dependent upon others for their identity and self-worth. So this is called codependency. They constantly are trying to meet the needs of others, fearing rejection if the other person disagrees or gets angry at them, feeling stressed to make everyone happy around them. They want to please people, right? These behaviors lead to a loss of authenticity, resentment, and difficulty establishing boundaries. But what about peacemakers? They share the truth and are honest in relationships, even if it's hard for the other party to hear. Your friends, your family, right? You speak the truth even when the truth is hard to hear. And people may disagree with you, but that's where reasoning comes in. They're confident in who they are, their identity, and have a healthy sense of self-worth. They prioritize the truth over feelings. They don't fear rejection from others, and they know not everyone will like the truth. This leads to more open and honest relationships with deep relationships over trust. So peacekeepers tend to have superficial or surface level relationships, while truth tellers have deep relationships because they have to talk about real things, deep things, right? Not everybody's going to agree with what you have to say. So, what causes people pleasing? One of the most common roots to people pleasing lies in childhood. Children who grow up in environments where love is conditional often learn that approval and love must be earned from others, like their parents. Common childhood experiences linked to people pleasing include emotional, unavailable, or inconsistent parenting or caregivers, harsh criticism and high expectations for that child, being rewarded for compliance rather than authenticity in the relationship, growing up in conflict heavy and unpredictable homes, having to emotionally care for parents as they are emotionally unstable themselves. The child has to be the most emotionally stable person in that family in order for it to function. Children in these environments adapt to being easy, quiet, helpful, and emotionally invisible to keep the home emotionally stable as possible. Conflict free, right? That's what they want. They want peace in the home. Over time, people pleasing becomes who they are, their identity. To keep an emotional environment at peace in their home. Who doesn't want a home that is peaceful, right? Nobody wants to live in a home full of conflict. So they adapt to the environment in order for their home to be as peaceful as possible because something is spiritually compromised or someone is spiritually compromised in the home. So, what are some signs and behaviors of people pleasers themselves? So, when it comes to emotional signs, they have chronic guilt in relationships, right? When something is wrong in the relationship, they feel guilty, like they are the person at fault for the relationship having difficulties. Fear and disappointment, uh, dis- fear of disappointing other people, right, by their actions. Anxiety around conflict, right? Again, they want to just keep the peace because the environment can be chaotic. They don't like the chaos. They want to avoid it at all costs. And emotional exhaustion, right? Trying to keep the peace all the time is exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting over time. Behavioral signs, saying yes when you actually mean no. Again, sometimes you just want to keep the peace, so you end up saying yes, even when you want to say no. Over apologizing, saying sorry when it's actually not your fault. Avoiding honest communication, right? You don't feel like you can be honest with that other person, whether they're your friend, whether they're your spouse or maybe even a child, right? You don't feel like you can be your authentic self because it will just cause conflict. People pleasing at work and relationships can also follow. Cognitive signs, overthinking interactions, right? Is it my fault? Did I do it? Is it something that I did? Assuming responsibility for others' emotions and believing your needs are less important than the other person. So, what is a people pleaser's response to conflict? The response for people pleasers in conflict involve appeasing others in order to keep the peace, suppressing their personal needs to appease others to keep the peace, avoiding conflict at all costs to keep the peace, seeking approval to reduce threats to keep the peace, right? It's their entire goal. People please to keep the peace in the environments in which they're at. They're scarred, right? It's trauma, it's traumatic from their childhood. For many survivors of these traumatic environments, they that are distressed and full of conflict, people pleasing was the safest option available to maintaining peace in conflict-free homes where you're not abandoned or rejected by the other party. The biggest thing that people pleasers fear is rejection and abandonment because of what happened to them in their childhood or past relationships. For many people pleasers, conflict once meant emotional withdrawal from the other person, punishment for speaking out, speaking the truth, abandonment when you spoke the truth, and escalation when you tried to bring up the truth. They learned that disagreement equals danger of rejection. Conflict, right? This fear may stem from early emotional wounds, relational trauma, or repeated experiences of abandonment within relationships. As adults, as they grow into adults, right? People pleasers overextend themselves to prevent being abandoned, right? And it can cause exhaustion, emotional exhaustion. It's hard. It's hard to always please the people around you. We're not meant to do this. This can cause low self-worth and external validation, right? Because when self-worth is tied to others' approval, people-pleasing becomes automatic. Instead of asking, what do I need? The question becomes, what does the other person expect from me to keep the peace? You become codependent upon the other person's emotions in order for your own stability. This leads to a loss of identity and codependency. Difficulty making decisions by yourself. What does the other person need for me or for them to remain happy and for peace to come to me? Overthinking conversations, constant guilt, and anxiety when asserting needs, your own needs, right? Because you believe if you speak on your own needs, conflict may arise. People pleasers' goal is to keep the peace. That's what they believe, right? In order to have a conflict-free relationship. So if the other person is unhappy in the relationship and in the environment has conflict and is without peace, the goal is to make them happy. If the other person is happy and the environment is at peace, the goal is to keep them happy. Again, it's a codependent relationship where you want the other person to remain happy and conflict free. So, how do we gain our confidence and identity back from this codependency? Confidence. It means with faith. Con meaning with, and fide in Latin meaning faith. Identity roots from the word the same. So we have confidence, meaning with faith, and identity, meaning the same. So we should have both our faith and confidence in the way that Jesus or Yeshua lived his life. And we should desire to live the same way that he lived, as our identity is in him, right? The same way he lived, we should want to live. And we should have our confidence, our faith, in the way that he lived. So that begs the question, how did he live? He remained in the fruits of the Spirit, and he followed the law. So what are the fruits of the Spirit? Galatians 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Brothers and sisters, the entire purpose of the law is to teach us, to raise us up. The Father is desiring to raise us up on how to love other people, right? He wants to teach us through the law how to love, have patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And when we do these things, joy and peace come after. 1 Corinthians 13:4 through 7. What is love, right? Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails. It's the way we're supposed to live. It is the way. It is the truth. And it is the life. It's who he is. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is generous, modest, humble. It honors others. It's selfless. It's not easily angered. It forgives. It dislikes evil. It rejoices in truth. It protects, trusts, hopes, and preserves. Do we not all want other people in our relationships to treat us like this? This is the fruits of the Spirit. Love. This is the key. Love is patient, right? Kind, generous. We want everyone else to treat us like this. So why do we sometimes go outside the fruits to what love isn't? Love is not short-tempered, mean and cruel, envious, boastful, proud, dishonors others, self-seeking, easily angered, unforgiving, delights in evil, hides from the truth, steals, doubts, and destroys. When we do these things, we are wounding other people in our relationships. We're wounding them, right? This hurts a child. When a child is treated this way, growing up, they end up being traumatized over time. They're wounded. Nobody wants to be treated like this. Nobody. That's why we should remain in the fruit of the Spirit, love, which is who he is. It is the way we should live our life. It's the truth. This is the way we should live. We shouldn't live that way. We should live this way. Treat others as you want to be treated, right? Don't be a hypocrite. If we go in those, we're hypocrites, right? If we go in those fruits, it's hypocrisy because we ourselves do not want to be treated that way. We want to be treated this way. The Bible says over and over, the Father says over and over, he despises hypocrisy. He's trying to teach us how not to be hypocrites. That's the purpose of the law, to keep us in the spirit of love. So how to become a peacemaker and truth teller? The way we should remain in the fruits of love for others, as it is the law and the fruit of the Spirit. This is how we make our identity love. It's who we are. When we believe by faith, that is the way that we should live. It becomes who we are. Matthew 22:37 through 40. Yeshua replied, "Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and all of your mind." This is the first and greatest commandment, right? Love your God. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself, right? Don't be a hypocrite. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. Everything that the law was trying to teach us and the prophets were trying to teach us is how not to be hypocrites. So should we take away from the law? Of course not, right? The law is trying to teach us how to love. The truth. Anytime someone is outside of the fruits of love, we should stand in the truth and bring it to their attention so that they may be corrected in love. Stand in confidence, in faith, that it is the way we should live, right? When we believe that that's the way we should live life, we can stand in our faith that the reason we are correcting somebody is because we love them, right? We want them to grow. We want them to do better. We're correcting them in love. It's not evil to correct somebody. It's actually loving. So this is how we have our identity in love, and we believe the truth, and we can correct others. And we become truth tellers. But when we correct others, there is a way of doing it, right? We should speak the truth in the fruits of love. Ephesians 4:15. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, that is Messiah, right? He tells us the truth. If we're being hypocrites, he doesn't want us to. He tells us, right? He's told us. He wants us to grow. He's told us the truth so we can grow. And we should speak it in love to others so they can receive it, right? Nobody wants to receive something out of hatred. We should give it to them in love. No one wants to be corrected by a hypocrite either, right? So Matthew 7:3 through 5. Why do you look at the speck of wood in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck out of your brother's eye, right? Nobody wants to be corrected by somebody who's a hypocrite, right? If I'm trying to correct someone, I should check myself first before I correct them to make sure we are in right standing and they know that the reason why I'm correcting them is because I love them. So we should also understand not everybody wants to be corrected. Correcting the wise versus the fool. Proverbs 9:7 through 9. Whoever corrects a scoffer is asking for insult. Whoever reproves a wicked man gets abuse. Do not correct a scoffer, or he will hate you. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. Instruct a wise man, and he will be wiser still. Brothers and sisters, isn't our whole faith that we want to become less hypocritical and more in the fruits of love? Should we love being corrected, right? We don't want to be hypocrites anymore. We want to grow. We want to become more mature. So of course, we should love being corrected. But some people are within themselves and they despise being corrected, which is part 2 of this series that we're going to talk about. So, encouragement. Matthew 5:3-10. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, and they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And these are the two we talked about today. Blessed are the peacemakers, truth tellers, for they shall be called sons of God. Stand up for the truth. Blessed are those who have been persecuted for their sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. When we speak the truth to people who don't want to hear it, we will be persecuted, brothers and sisters. We will. Because not everybody wants to be corrected. Not everybody wants the truth. But nothing can stand against you when you speak the truth in the fruits of love. When you truly care about the other person and you stand in love and remain in the fruits. Only unrighteous persecution, right? What can come against you? If you're speaking the truth in love and you are not a hypocrite, you have the plank out of your eye, all that can come against you is persecution. 2 Timothy 3:12. In fact, everyone who wants to live a godly life in Messiah Yeshua will be persecuted. If we stand in the truth, He is the way, He is the truth, and He is the life. And that is what love is. It's the way we should live life. It's the truth we should share with others. We shouldn't be hypocrites, right? We shouldn't. And if we all did that, life would prosper. It would. But we should know persecution is coming when we do that, just as He was persecuted Himself. But blessed are those who are persecuted. Again, this is part 1 of 3 parts of Discerning the Spirit. I hope you've enjoyed being rooted in the truth. Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'll see you next time.